Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as the year draws to a close, it's a good time to celebrate the richness of our diverse religious and cultural traditions, and a time to reflect on the values that unite us: love, kindness, compassion and gratitude, while honouring the unique practices that bring meaning and joy to our lives. For those who observe Christmas, may this season of peace and goodwill fill your hearts with hope and joy. My own tradition at this time of year is to celebrate the 8 days of Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights. May the lights of the Hanukkah shine brightly to symbolise the freedom to practice one's faith in whatever form. To our Muslim friends observing the sacred days of the year, may your faith and prayers bring you peace and blessings. To our Buddhist friends, may the path of wisdom, compassion and mindfulness lead you towards inner peace and enlightenment. And to our Sikh friends, may the spirit of Seva, selfless service, humility and the teachings of the Gurus guide you towards a year filled with love, unity and compassion for all. Madam Speaker, to all the many belief systems in our communities in the Northern Territory and to those who, like me, take a more humanist approach, may the holiday season be calm and a time for well-earned rest. In this season of togetherness, let us cherish our differences and find strength in our shared humanity. And here's to a new year filled with understanding, compassion and unity across all cultures and beliefs. Madam Speaker, I was elected on a platform of doing politics differently, of bringing community into our democracy, of working to make this truly into the people's house. I'd like to share with the Chamber some of how we have been doing that in Johnston. A month ago, I stood in this chamber for the first time and felt the great privilege and responsibility of what I was embarking on. My community, like so much of the Northern Territory, wanted change, and together we ran a campaign marked by hope, inclusion, positive values, respect, care and openness. We saw and heard the community's desire for not just change, but also connection, for being listened to and heard. And the outcome was that I was elected as the first independent for Johnston. And since then, it's been my honour and pleasure to continue to be in the community, to visit people in their homes, their organisations, their businesses, their schools, and have them come to our office for meetings, using our community meeting space or just a cup of tea. I've been setting up outside local shops in the suburbs in my electorate, which is a great opportunity to talk with people who can't get into an office during office hours or just want to chat, and also to continue my quest to find the best hot chips in Johnston. Spoiler alert, Alloa Indian Fish and Chips shop is the current winner. And my favourite day of the week, Sunday, where I'm at the wonderful Rapid Creek Market, so I can be where my constituents are and they know they can come to me. I'm also committed to find ways to bring people together so they can connect with each other to create the community they want. For me, this is part of our job as leaders, to create spaces where people can work together for change and we can support them in doing it. As part of this, last week in Johnston, we held our first town hall meeting. People came from across the electorate and spoke to me and each other about their concerns for their community, which included their disappointment with no underground power and their fears for this next cyclone season, the lack of funding for public schools, and the fact that there is no community space, indoor community space for people in my electorate to come together. They also talked about the strengths of and their love for our community and its resources. The inspiring jingly water gardens, the still wild and beautiful Gurrumbye Rapid Creek that runs through the middle of our electorate and is flowing clear and fast after the last few days' rains. The amazing fresh food from the markets, our community gardens and school gardens. But almost everyone said they'd come because they felt disillusioned with politics. They felt disheartened by the lack of consultation with community, by what they saw as the abuse of power that we see in politics in the NT, by the glaring risks of corruption posed by the Territory Coordinator, by human rights abuses allowed by the CLP lowering the age of criminal responsibility. And they came because they felt hopeful that there could be change and that we can find ways to do things better. People said to me that that means doing things better in the community so we can feel safe, connected and able to build the futures we want. And they also said it means our leaders doing things better, including here in this chamber. As a newly elected member, I've come into this chamber full of commitment and hope. It was great to be in Parliament School 6 weeks ago with all the other new members and talk about the resetting of the culture of Parliament. And it was great at the start of our 15th Assembly to hear the words and prayers of hope and encouragement for working together. It was wonderful to hear everyone's first speeches talking about this commitment to working together for the whole NT. And it was wonderful to hear people tonight say that they feel we are doing that well. I'm not so convinced. We're not enemies in this chamber. We're colleagues with a job to do. The rules and culture of this house are new to me. I'm learning them gradually. But if this was my house or my workplace, which it is, I'd be strongly objecting to some of the behaviour I see in this chamber. The election is over, but I've been keeping track of the number of times Labor and the CLP pay each other out and put each other down. And I've been watching the personal attacks and snide comments which I believe have no place in this room. We have such limited time in Parliament to do our important work. If even an hour of this limited time is spent paying each other out, how much is that costing the Northern Territory? What else could we be doing with that time? The people of the Northern Territory don't need to hear the CLP saying over and over again this is Labor's fault. You have no election to win. They don't need to hear people attacking others personally and calling out slurs. We've got a job to do. Come on, let's do it better. I think different views enrich us and strengthen our democracy. It's about how we work together with those differences. We saw yesterday a coming together of people across the chamber to create a motion, to change that motion and to support it together to affect the terrible issue of domestic violence. So we know we can do it. And we have so many shared issues across our electorates. In all of our electorates, people experience domestic violence, are experiencing poverty, are worried about safety, are concerned about the health of our environment and water, experience racism and discrimination, and the Territory depends on us to work well together. We need to do this to address the serious systemic issues our communities all face. This is what our community wants. We have shown we can work together on issues, and I look forward to continuing to do this and perhaps getting better at it in 2025. I want to come briefly to my wonderful electorate. We have amazing people, groups, organisations and schools, and I want to celebrate all of them. I won't read out the whole electoral roll like the member for Karama, and I also promise not to sing, but I do want to celebrate every single one of them, from baby Evie, who was just born and I got to meet at the weekend, to 96-year-old Elsie, who rings me regularly just to see how I'm going. I love attending school events and assemblies, from the crazy hair day at Nemaluk School, some therapeutic weeding at the amazing Allua School Farm, the Jingly Jiggle, Milner School's parent literacy program, Moyle Assembly, where we wish good morning in at least 15 different languages, Casuarina Senior College's beautiful graduation ceremony, and most recently I was privileged to present graduating students at Jingly Primary School with their graduation certificates, which was especially meaningful to me to watch these young future leaders take their steps into the future, as my own children did from Jingly quite some years ago now. I'm always inspired by the teachers and young people and the way they prepare for the future. There are also amazing groups in our community, and I want to pay a particular thanks to the people who look after the beautiful place we live in as volunteers and community members, the Rapid Creek Land Care Group, community members like Ted, who took on his own behalf, painted a mural on the walls of Jingly shops just to make it look nicer. He said we don't need to wait for other people to come and fix things up for us. Christine and Noel from Haydale, who feed people when they're hungry, even when they have no money. Stan and Bill and John at the Greek Men's Club, who provided a place for lonely people to come together and welcomed me many months ago and continue to fuel me with great Greek coffee and a lot of advice about what they think needs to happen here. To Pam, who runs the seniors painting group every Tuesday. So lovely to hear the art, laughter and the art from this group each week. And Madam Speaker, I also want to note that I want to thank the many wonderful volunteers. I would have liked to say all their names, but I timed it and it was going to take me more than 5 minutes, so I won't, but they know who they are. To the incredible staff in this house, you're incredible, patient and wise. And to my colleagues in this chamber, thank you all for your commitment to a better Northern Territory. I'd like to make special mention of Yingi Aguyala, the member for Mulka, for his mentorship and leadership both inside and outside this chamber. Murray, I'm honoured to sit behind you in this chamber. And to my fellow new crossbench member, the member for Nightcliff, thank you for your courage and your commitment to your community. And Madam Speaker, thank you. You have a difficult job and bring great fortitude and steadiness to the role. I, for one, was sorry to lose you from the crossbench, but like everyone else in this chamber, I'm grateful you're in the Speaker role. You're modelling independence. Thank you. I have so much more to say, but I've run out of time. But to my family, to my staff, to everyone who allows me to be here and supports me in doing this, thank you. And one last thing, to Johnny, who thought I'd never mention him in a speech. Hello, Johnny.
Member for Brennan.
Thank you.